Title: AITA for cussing and getting drunk in front of my kindergarten students. I'm a kindergarten teacher. I teach in-person classes that are socially distanced, as well as online classes. Last weekend was my 27th birthday. I went to a restaurant with a couple friends for outdoor dining. While we were there, two moms come in with their children and are seated behind me. I recognize them as students in my in-person class. They say hi to me, and I say hi back, but then don't interact further. Through dinner, I'm just enjoying my time with my friends. I have a few glasses of wine and get a little tipsy, not rowdy or obnoxious or anything. I'm conversing normally with my friends, occasionally using cuss words like fuck or shit or damn. Not excessively, just the way some people would in everyday conversation. Maybe a little more than I would have if I were not tipsy, but again, I'm not speaking loudly or anything. Just having normal conversations with my friends. One of the moms then comes over to me and reminds me that my students were there, and that I shouldn't be drinking and cursing in front of them. Since I'm their teacher, it was my job to set a good example to them. I just told her I was off the clock and that if it was bothering her, she could move or stop listening to me. She got all huffy, and they soon left. Earlier this week, I was called down by the principal who was with that mom in his office. She was angry and complained that I was setting a bad example for my students. And now her daughter was using some of the same words I was using, saying that if her teacher can say it, so can she. He asked for my side of the story, and I just explained exactly what happened. Given that she verified my story, he told her that I was not their teacher at the time, and since I wasn't doing anything wrong, they couldn't control my behavior off the clock. She protested a bit, but eventually left, but called me a terrible teacher. I thanked the principal for backing me up, but then he suggested maybe that one time I should have just stopped drinking and using foul language. I really didn't think this was a problem, since wasn't acting out. Just talking casually and enjoying a couple glasses of wine. But am I really the asshole for drinking and using foul language in front of my students while off the clock? Edit: I was not loud or belligerent or excessively drunk. I had 2 glasses of wine. And when I say I was tipsy, that's a bit of an exaggeration. It takes more than 2 glasses of wine for me to start feeling anything. I wasn't screaming obscenities. I was just using slightly foul language in casual conversation. E.g. The news is shit. It's too damn hot to be fall. Title: AITA for possible causing a divorce in my wife 31F, best friend 32F, marriage. My wife 31F and Amy 32F are best friends for about 15 years. About 2 months ago Amy gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. Me 34M and my wife have 4 children, 3F, 4F, 4M, 6F, so we have been helping Amy and her husband Jake, 29M, because we know how hard and stressful the first few months with a newborn can be, specifically because they are first-time parents. My wife planned a girls' night at our house and invited her friends. She does that once a month. When my wife hosts those nights at our place, I usually go out with some of my friends to a nearby bar. Amy and Jake moved to our city around 1 year ago because Amy wanted to stay close to her parents and she had a better job opportunity in our town. Since they moved here, Jake has no family or friends nearby except me, so I decided to invite him to come with my other friends to the bar. Jake is very shy and reserved. He doesn't talk a lot, but he is a great guy. When we arrived at the bar, I tried to push Jake a little to interact with the other guys, but his answers were always short and simple, and then I told the rest of the guys that Jake was a first-time father and that his daughter was born 2 months ago. Finally, a conversation that Jake seemed to engage. The other guys in my friend group are a bit older than me, so most of them are parents, and things were going pretty well until a friend told us that the first time he thought, "Holy shit, I am dad," was when he cutted the cord after his wife gave birth after hearing Hearing this, Jake went a bit silent and said that he wasn't present at the delivery room when his wife gave birth. Then he asked us if was that big of a deal, and if he missed a lot not being there. Well, the consensus on the table was that being able to watch our children being delivered to this world is one of the most important moments in the life of a father, and that yes, he has missed a huge thing, and that he lost one of hugest milestones in a marriage. After that, Jake went a bit quiet and left shortly after. 2 days later, Jake asks me if he can stay with me for a few days because he needed a bit of space from Amy. Amy called my wife crying, and she went to her house to talk with her a bit after that. Jake arrived at our home, and that's when he told me that he wanted to be in the delivery room, but with COVID restrictions only one person was allowed, and Amy chose her mom. Apparently he tried to argue with her, but she was adamant, and in the end he was not allowed in the birth room. Jake told Amy what he heard at the bar. They got into a big fight, and currently Jake is considering a divorce. Needless to say that Amy is furious at me, and my wife is currently giving me the silent treatment. She said that I probably ended their marriage. I feel really bad with this whole thing, especially with a baby in the middle. Title: AITA for refusing to go on a surprise vacation with my wife's family? You are probably thinking, oh, amazing, a vacation, I wish I could go on one right about now, and you would be right, I would love to go on a vacation, but not this one. I am 30M and my wife is 26F, and if I am honest, I adore my wife, but I absolutely hate her family. Her mom is a know-it-all who thinks everything is her business. Her sisters are bitchy snobs who criticize everything despite being anything but successful themselves. Their kids are spoiled brats. Her dad is just a broken man who seems to have given up decades ago, and the rest of her extended family is pretty much like the rest. Somehow and in some way my wife got all the good genes and ended up being an extremely sweet, beautiful, caring, empathetic woman. Well, yesterday my wife decided to surprise me. She prepared a really romantic meal, wine, candles, the whole shebang for my shabby ass after I got home from work, and she told me we were going on a 3-week-long vacation to a secluded cabin in a great hiking area of my country, given I had to take up my vacation weeks anyway. I was honestly pretty damn excited. I love hiking. I grew up in a small town with loads of nature and used to hike pretty much daily. I love cabins, and honestly I really needed the break as my job has been extremely stressful. Shortly after, she revealed with the biggest smile that it would be a huge family vacation with her mom, her dad, her sisters, their kids, and a cousin and her kids, and honestly my heart just dropped. Trust me, I do my absolute best to stand these people when I see them for the sake of my wife and act like the perfect son-in-law, but the idea of spending my only vacation days in a cabin with these absolutely horrible people is just a full-on no for me. I'd rather stay at home doing jack shit for 3 weeks. I've been with them on a vacation once, and the entire time it was just them arguing, complaining, and us being forced to take care of her sister's hellspawn half the time. I straight up said that I was not going to do that again and that she was free to go, but I am not going. She started crying and seemed extremely upset I reacted the way I did, despite never hiding how I feel about her family. We ended up arguing a whole bunch, and she ended up leaving to stay with her best friend who lives down the street. Title: AITA for my reaction after my husband sold the tea set that my deceased mother gave me. I, 35F, been married to my husband, 37M, for 3 years. We live in a rented apartment in a nice neighborhood. My dream has always been to own a house on our own and won't have to pay rent anymore. I'm a physician. My husband is a construction worker. We're doing fine financially, but he's always complaining about me not doing enough, even though I make a ton of money, even though I handle all of our 2-year-old daughter's expenses, food, clothes, toys, etc. I also pay most of the rent. It's because he says I'm a physician I make more. He has a box for his own savings that he keeps in our bedroom that has been sitting there since 2017. I myself have no idea what he's saving for. He always complains that I threw money away whenever I buy new stuff for the apartment. He sold his car, and that resulted in me getting my own car. Then he threw a fit because of it, basically talking about my salary. He recently started selling stuff via online, stuff like set of kitchenware that I bought not too long ago, furniture, lamps, etc. When asked him about it, he argued that 1, he doesn't make as much as I make, therefore he had to sell stuff, And 2, I'm a doctor. I have money, I can always buy replacements. I have put up with that until last week, when I came home and my husband told me that he sold the 15-piece European ceramic tea set that my deceased mother gifted me for my wedding online for $255. I was too shocked. I literally yelled at him for touching my tea set and selling it without my consent. He lashed out saying I overreacted because this tea set has been sitting in the cabinet for some time and that we never used it. Said that again, since I make a lot of money, then I can get a better, more modern tea set, but this set had a sentimental value. It was important to me. It's literally the last thing I have from my mother after my siblings treated me poorly and didn't let me have anything. It was personal that he had no right to sell no matter what. He told me that he needed the money to pay someone he owed money to for 2 months, and didn't want to come to me for money. When I demanded that he returns the tea set, he said that he'll just pay me $225 from his savings soon, so I just need to drop it. I told him no, and the argument didn't stop.